Cold air, that's what we've been talking about for the last few days and what we'll continue to talk about. Weather First meteorologist Gary Frank with an update on how cold it's been, what it means historically, and really why we continue to talk so much about it, right? You know as well as I do, going outside for any period of time, right now, it feels pretty awful. Imagine not being able to go inside for a warm place for a while, right? We get that. So let's talk about why it is and what that means for us over the next few days. We got to 7 below this morning. That was the coldest that we'd seen in a while. The coldest in a while was 6 below was our maximum last year. So we're already above that. Look at some of the numbers around our area. And even as I zoom in, plenty of your car thermometers, my car thermometer, your house thermometer will say 10 to 15 below. And there's no doubt about that, right? When you're talking about stuff like this, some of the low-lying areas that cool down a little quicker, it was very cold. When we get this cold, even just a little bit of cloud cover or a little bit of wind or lack thereof really makes a 2 to 3 degrees difference, sometimes 5 degrees. So it was cold, but believe it or not a record, right? Our record lows for today, 9 below, 7 below here, obviously, set back in 1881, it was 9 below. So we tied today's record at 7 below in 1979. That was second. So how high did we get? Well, we did get to 3 today. That was actually around 6:30, 7 o'clock. So that was still better than 3 below. Some spots did not get above 0. It's very cold. This is going to be the coldest. Even some spots locally did not get above 0. So it was very cold, right? But this was a record. When we talk about records that the lowest maximum temperature that we had, meaning the coldest high temperature, as typically the way I phrase it, our average high is 40 and we were at 3. So even if for some reason for the next couple of hours we get up a 2 degrees, it's not going up, but it's just still, it's cold. We shattered that record. Those are the 4 coldest highs. 1881 at the same time. Like I mentioned, we're way below our average. So what does that mean for us? Today's high of 3 was not only the coldest high temperature on this date, but 5 below in 1983 was the coldest high temperature that we've ever had. That means the maximum temperature in the afternoon, 5 degrees below 0. So not far off that on the other side of the state, but we've had 18 times that we've had a colder high than today. So pretty impressive. That just kind of puts this into perspective. This is pretty serious cold air. So when you add that cold air in any sort of breeze, that's why we have this wind chill warning, the wind chill advisory. Why are some areas involved in the wind chill warning and why are some areas involved in wind chill advisory? And let's just talk about this in general. Why do we care so much about the wind chill? I think it's the same type of thing in a different set of science. A similar setup with how the body cools down, stays warm. But, you obviously talk about how cold it is this time of the year. Let's talk about what that means in the science of wind chill, right? You got about 98.6. The body temperature drops faster. And I'm going to pause this for a little bit just because it really likes to go pretty quick on me. Overall, it's the amount of the evaporation, right? I think that's the big key for us here because when you're talking about evaporation, let's watch this because, the body creates that layer of warmth here. Now, watch as the wind blows. The body temperature drops pretty quickly. We got the wind whisking away that layer of warmth, so your temperature falls, right? Your body temperature falls. Say it's 95, right? It's going to get colder. You have that thin layer of moisture on exposed skin, so that's going to at least protect some of that. And that's why we always tell you to dress in layers, but the wind evaporates that, and that's where you have that evaporation cooling your skin, which is the same time, like I talked about, we mentioned the heat index readings and how humid it is. When you have that, and think about when you get out of the pool immediately, you're cooler because the wind, the air evaporates, and that's how we cool off. That's why it makes it feel better. When you don't lose the sweat, you can't cool it off. That's on the other end of the spectrum. So that's why we preach talking about wind chill so much. So that's why it's important when we have wind plus the temperature, that's what it feels like. That's why there's a chart. This all falls in together mathematically, and it tells you what it's supposed to feel like. So for the rest of the night, watch our temperatures fall below 0 again. We're headed there. We'll talk about how close we are to a record. Once again, very close to some of these records, but just even a 7-mile-an-hour breeze at 20 below. It makes it feels like 20 below. So pretty significant. So that's where you come into the, well, how cold are you? If you're 5, 10 below and it feels like 20 below, that's where you run into the wind chill warning. When these numbers are in the single digits, the wind chill advisory, 10, maybe up to 15 below. So that's the difference in the criteria, right? You'll notice by Monday afternoon, our temperatures are actually going to get to about 10 degrees, I think, by the afternoon. It will still feel like it's in the single digits below zero. But notice Tuesday night, still cold again, still the wind is around by Tuesday morning, and that's a morning we'll have to watch because a lot of you are going back to work or school. As we head into the afternoon, though, things improve. We're above zero. This is over. But it's still going to be cold Tuesday, and I think Wednesday is improved. But I just want to kind of give you an idea of how cold it was today, historically, and really why we talk so much about the wind chill and obviously heat index in the summertime, why that's so important. I hope that broke that down for you a little bit so you kind of understand historically how cold this stretch is and why we continue to go into it. It's something we'll continue to mention here over the next couple of days as well.